Well, I never laid my eyes on an actual event. From here, we saw a lot of trees dancing pretty well. The first one that fell was right here at my house. So soon thereafter, the phone started ringing. Work phone, that is. We normally keep about two guys on call who rotate weekly, but they also have backup should they need them from various divisions: asphalt, water, sewer, whoever they can get on the phone. Those guys, from the time the hail stopped, we were rolling. The majority of trees that we had during that initial gust was all wrapped with power, of which we can't. Energy doesn't like us to cut the trees down for various reasons. Right. Those lines and wires could be wrapped in the trees, and you don't want to accidentally nick something, or there could be wire insulated. The insulation on the wire could be split or ruptured, and where we have an arc around said tree.
Right.
I think initially that night, and I lost count, somewhere around 11 trees. The main hot spots was College Hill up here by Wildwood, south on Spring Ridge Road, Old Vicksburg Road. We had a few over here around in the Sarah Dickey subdivision. Mm-hmm. I think South Front, North Frontage, and a few overall South Frontage as well. It was an interesting night. I'll mark this up there with the ice storm that we had a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's definitely something to remember and to gauge kind of future activity with. So kind of with that, I guess it comes into play with the spring cleanup, because that's scheduled, but to kind of kick it off a little early, the city contracted and had some of the bins available over by Traceway Park where people could bring certain types of limbs and everything. Wasn't that correct? Is that still going on, or does that have a date where it'll end?
Yeah, well, so you mentioned two different events. So as part of the storm event, just like we did 3 years ago, I believe, when we had a massive storm come through with a high influx of vegetation and limb debris, I staged some garbage bins or waste bins over at Traceway Park. And it's really for us. It's to keep us from wasting diesel driving all the way back from the north side of town to our shop on the south side of town.
Yeah.
And we dump it there. But with that being there, I realized that not everyone has over a pickup truck of limb debris down. Some people, have just a little bit under and they just want it gone. So I during regular business hours, I would beg them to help us out,
right?
To go ahead and drop it off, just to help. Of course, it is for Clinton residents. It's only for limb debris, not just garbage.
Right. Just what is it called? Green waste.
Yes, just green waste. Yeah. Just green waste. You'll get us all in trouble if it's garbage mixed in there, and I don't like trouble.
Yeah, nobody likes trouble.
Right. The other event, which is coming up. Oh man.
I think I got it down here. It's April. It's the spring cleanup, right? So it's April the 15th. It's April the 15th through the 22nd, but it says in there not the 16th. So it's Saturday, April the 15th. Sunday, April the 16th is not going to be open, but then Monday, April the 17th through Saturday, April the 22nd, it will be open from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Who is it open to?
It is open to only Clinton residents.
Okay, and you have to show your ID?
Yes, when you pull up to the police officer there on Old Vicksburg Road, 1111 Old Vicksburg Road, again, pull up, show them your ID, and we'll pretty much take everything except for free uncharged items, appliances. And we're very particular about building materials. A lot of solid waste landfills don't like sheetrock and especially things with asbestos in it.
Right. And that's going to be, you said, at 1111 Old Vicksburg Road. That's the old north side location?
Correct.
All right. Is there anything that citizens can do to help out your crews? Because I know that some people like myself, we may have a bucket or two of things that we just couldn't put out the street, but then there are some that have a lot of heavy items. Is there anything that if somebody's got something very large, what they need to do and how they need to bring that?
I'm gonna say this in all things that is public works. Patience. Have some patience with us. We are human.
Yeah.
We move as fast as we can, but sometimes we will need extra second to assess and think about what's going on before we just dive in.
Right.
When you come to the cleanup, we do have equipment. We definitely do have equipment. But like I know, and any other person who has a trailer or has had to use equipment to unload a truck, anything can happen.
Exactly.
Should you not want your equipment to get damaged, at least help us get the heavier items off the trailer and on the ground. That helps us out 10 times more than what people would believe.
Yep.
If it is something that you're capable of picking up and unloading and throwing away yourself, it'll definitely help with the flow of traffic, especially on that first Saturday, and moreover on the second Saturday once people realize that we're out there.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so you said that there are items that they can't bring because of certain regulations, but there is going to be a month later on, I believe it's May the 13th at 525 Spring Ridge Road. There's going to be a hazardous collection day. What can they bring during that time, and what are the instructions for that?
That is going right there at 525 Spring Ridge Road, right where you pay your water bill. We'll have people stationed to guide you around the building. The main things that we take is going to be those household chemicals like paints, oils, petroleum products, light bulbs, batteries, those kind of things that you're not supposed to flush down the toilet or just dump into the ground. Herbicides, pesticides, that kind of stuff, and some aerosol cans.
What about because we're on this end of COVID where everybody was working at home, it seemed. So there might be some upgrades that people had with computers. Would this be a time that they could bring that equipment, or would it be available at the spring cleanup, or is it specifically just the hazardous cleanup?
Honest to God, with the fall and spring cleanups that we did have during COVID, I'm always surprised here after post-COVID. You didn't see my air quotes.
Yeah.
Post-COVID. I'm surprised that people still have things to throw away, but you're exactly right. I expect it's technology. Let's say that it's technology. And every I think 5 years, they're coming out with new hardware and software every year.
Right.
So yeah, of course, old TVs that you've been promising that you were going to get to repair or send off, and you just went ahead and finally got another one. Bring that on to us. iPads, headphones, the works. We found a typewriter last year.
Wow.
I thought those things were completely gone.
Yeah,
there are a few out there.
They're obsolete except for the one or two hipsters out there that like to write their term paper on it.
There you go.
Tell me about, I've eaten up a little bit of your time, so I kind of want to let you get back to life. Tell me a little bit though, about Public Works. You are one of the directors in the city. You're a Clintonian. You graduated from Clinton. I'm proud to say you're one of the young guns. We're in our 30s over here, and so you've got a lot of really good stuff going on. But a good leader and a good director has a plan and a future at least measured out. What are some of your short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals that you have harbored in your brain?
On a short term, and I won't give you all my little secrets.
Right.
On a short term, I realize it's coming up in the ranks here at Clinton Public Works, and like you said, growing up in town, we've seen the best of times. WorldCom comes to my mind. The boom of WorldCom, Clinton was very prosperous, and we had a group of guys who had a certain pride in their work, and that's the best I can see it. I think that was more so of a generation, if you will.
Right.
But that generation is slowly getting to some well-deserved retirement. So initially, right now, short term, it is getting things back organized. It takes time. anyone who's ever administered over people know that engineering people is the most difficult thing you'll ever do. So right now, what we're doing is going through some short bursts of leadership training, which leads to a long-term goal. Because what I realized is that in developing my leaders, whether I'm here or not, anything can happen to me.
Right.
I've started with the planting of the seeds of ideas to where when I get new guys under these leaders, they'll start hearing a higher morale, if you will.
Yeah.
Go the extra mile.
Right.
These people, like I tell my guys all the time, the people that we're doing for, that we're serving, are the grandparents and parents and sisters and cousins of someone.
Yeah.
But if there was your grandparent that called about a water leak or sewer backing up in your house, how would you want them treated?
See, I like that. It's not a work order number; it's a person.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're public servants. We're just like the pastors. We're just like the officers, the firemen.
Absolutely.
The ushers in the church. That's who we are. Of course, again, that's long term because ideals are very, very difficult to implant. Outside of it, I think I've been with the city for about 13 years now. And man, some of the issues that have arisen in my tenure here have gotten to a point to where I take them personal. Because if you've called about something for so long, if nothing else, if not a no, then we need to at least start showing some kind of a percentage change. We started out with 100% deficit. Surely by now we should be at 85% deficit. Going down. I'm all about progress. I want to get to a point where I can definitely see some major improvements. Of course, these improvements won't be seen by the public.
Right. Everything's underground. Everything's behind the scenes kind of stuff. Yep.
Right. And I feel that deserves my utmost attention. I wish I can say that I'll have the city as colorful as it was with Rosemary Altman, who did a great job at planting out flower beds and tree beds, but I'm not that guy. I can do cucumbers, but I don't think people will like those weeds that grow up in cucumbers and tomatoes.
Hey, I like cucumbers. Cucumbers turn into pickles.
Exactly. That's practical.
Absolutely. Well,
right.
Well, I can very much see, the progress that you're doing. And again, being one of the, I consider ourselves young guns. It's good to see the recognition of what was in the future, which is the whole reason why I jumped into the fray, because of those that put forth effort to get Clinton to where it was while I was growing up. And I want the best for my children, but I also want the best for my parents. My parents are, in their mind, they're still the 30, 35-year-old that I am. And in my mind, I'm still the 15, 17-year-old that the kids are these days. But, everything was, my grandparents were taken very well care of here in the city of Clinton. And I want the same for my parents, but also on the flip side, I want the best for my kids to grow up, to have the best, but also to inherit the best. And that doesn't just happen. And that goes a lot to your leadership. And I'm very appreciative of it as an alderman, but also as a Clintonian.
And I'll tell you, it's one thing that definitely has a revelation I've had is that everything is connected. A lot of things that I hear and listening to you guys in the Board of Aldermen and mayor meeting, or the mayor and Board of Aldermen meeting, is property value. Mm-hmm. Everything's relative. The police, the fire safety code, and utilities. This is what people want to see when they're looking for a house. And if they're not buying houses, we're losing tax revenue. It's I guess just as a young gun, it just hit me one day and said, wow. So trying to get this idea to my guys has been another goal of mine. Listen, you're important. I'm not sure if you're going to get to this part, but if I had to say anything to the public or anyone who's listening, please get out here and meet my guys. let them know that they're more than just a uniform, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that if we make these jobs more personable, it gives my guys a pride in knowing that, okay, let's do this for Miss Williams, who lives on Old Vineyard, or Mr. Scott, who lives on Old Vicksburg, or so on and so forth.
Yeah, and in the same manner that the public wants to be treated as people and not a work order number. Reciprocate it, build that relationship, and when we see everybody out there, go and say hello. Some of your guys have been out there for over 30 years, and they
right.
Blood, sweat, and tears into this city, and it shows. It very much shows.
Right.
Well, cool. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you letting me interrupt some of your time. I told you I was going to try to keep this under 20 minutes, and I think I did. So I appreciate it. To remind everybody, spring cleanup here in the city of Clinton, April 15th, April 17th through 22nd, 7 a.m. through 5 p.m. At the old North Side Elementary location at 1111 Old Vicksburg Road. A month later, Hazardous Materials Collection, May 13th at 525 Spring Ridge Road. And if you get out there and you see some of the guys, roll your window down, say hello, introduce yourself, because they very much want to know your name and they want to know who they're serving, because it is servant leadership.
Correct.
All right, well, go back to your family. I hope your house is taken care of. I hope that tree gets cut up, I hope you can get rid of it pretty soon. And I really do appreciate your time, and I appreciate your leadership.
Anytime. Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
My thanks to Phillip Lilley, the Director of Public Works here in the city of Clinton, for joining me. Again, to echo him, if you see any of his guys or any of his crews, stop, roll the window down, say hello, thank them, because they do love serving you. Sometimes it is a thankless job, as most of our jobs are, but a little bit of encouragement goes a long way. If you see me out and about, please stop and say hello. Take care of your neighbor, keep looking out for each other, and I appreciate your time.